Hello everyone, welcome back to Mentors Academy. Today is the 29th of September 2025 and we are here with the most important current affairs from the newspapers, The Hindu, The Indian Express, PIB and also other reliable sources explained in detail with your exam relevance. Right, so these current affairs are specially relevant for all your competitive exams, including UPSC, CSC, prelims, mains, also EPFO, CAPF, and all other state PCS exams as well. Right, so let's begin with the previous session's MCQs first before moving into today's key headlines and the articles in detail. So the first MCQ was with reference to preventive detention in India. Consider the following statements. Article 22 of the Constitution provides for both preventive and punitive detention. The maximum detention under the National Security Act 1980 without advisory board approval is 3 months. Only Parliament, not state legislatures, has the power to make laws on preventive detention. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. So the correct answer to this question is option A, 1 and 2 only. Right, option 1 is correct, 2 is correct, but 3 is wrong because both Parliament and state legislatures can make preventive detention laws. The next question was, consider the following pairs regarding global conventions and their mandates. UNCCD, land degradation and desertification; UNFCCC, transboundary movement of hazardous waste; CBD, conservation of biodiversity and genetic resources. The correct answer to this question is option A, 1 and 3 only. UNFCCC, it deals with climate change, right, not hazardous waste. So these are the MCQs. So now let's see today's key headlines. Let me read them out for you one by one. Behind sex ratio fall, violation of abortion law and low fertility rate. Emissions pooling relief for small cars, new draft CAFE rules prescribe. Astrosat, India's first space observatory, completes a decade among the stars. India's cold desert biosphere reserve designated by UNESCO. Two Bihar wetlands join global list of Ramsar sites. Dragonfly survey brings good news. Surge in count, new species logged. So these are the key headlines of today's current affairs. So let's see them one by one. First one is about sex ratio decline, laws and fertility. India's failing sex ratio. India's falling sex ratio is being linked to violation of illegal sex selective abortions and also declining fertility rates. Right, so the sex ratio is at birth is defined as the number of female births per 1,000 male births. So while the natural average is around 950, around 952, so India's NFHS 5 2019 to 21 puts it at about 929. Right, so the PCPNDT Act 1994, it prohibits the prenatal sex determination, yet violations persist. So here declining fertility, right, the declining fertility, it makes every missing girl more significant. Son preference remains socially entrenched. Enforcement gaps in PCPNDT Act fuel the imbalance. These are the main concerns. So for prelims, it's important to know about the NFHS 5 data and the Act, PCPNDT Act. And for mains, connect this to gender justice, social reform measures, and also demographic challenges. The next article is about new CAFE norms that relief for small cars. So draft CAFE stands for Corporate Average Fuel Economy Norms, right? Propose emission pooling and relaxed target for small cars, right? So CAFE rules are prescribed under These CAFE rules are prescribed under the Energy Conservation Act of 2001. It aims to improve the improve fuel efficiency and reduce the carbon emissions. Right, so automakers can pool fleet emissions across models. Small cars get relaxed limits to keep them affordable, and also it balances green goals with economic realities. For UPSC, for prelims, it's important to know about the CAFE norms and also the Act, Energy Conservation Act 2001. And for mains, balancing climate action with the equity, economic and social equity. The next article is an important one. Astrosat decade in space. So India's first space observatory. We have seen many prelims PYQs on this particular mission. First space observatory has completed 10 years now. So it was launched in the year 2015 by ISRO. 2015 by ISRO. It's comparable to NASA's Hubble um, Hubble space, but with wider energy coverage, right? So it generated over 1200 research papers globally. Key findings of this mission include black holes, binary stars, and also star formation reasons. Data accessed by over 900 global scientists, right? Very important one. So for prelims, it's important to know about the features of Astrosat and also other important ISRO launches or missions. And for mains, connect this to space technology for science diplomacy, boosting India's global research footprint. The next article is about Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve UNESCO recognition. So India's Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve, located in Himachal Pradesh, Ladakh, has been added to UNESCO's World Network of Biosphere Reserves list. Very important. Please note this. This Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve, it spans includes Pin Valley National Park, Kibar Wildlife Sanctuary, and also Chandratal, right, and parts of Ladakh. Right, so it's unique high altitude ecosystem. It's home to snow leopards, ibex, and also many medicinal plants. So this recognition will boost ecotourism and also conservation funding. It will support pastoralist communities and sustainable livelihoods, right? It also aligns with India's biodiversity commitments. For prelims, it's important to connect to UNESCO biosphere reserves. Very important. And locations, their locations, very important mapping. And for mains, high altitude conservation or also ecology versus livelihood. The next article is again an important one. Bihar wetlands. Two Bihar wetlands are named in the Ramsar under Ramsar sites. So Bihar's Gokul Jalashay and also Udaipur Jheel have been designated the Ramsar sites, raising India's tally to 93. Very important number. You have to do the mapping of these important Ramsar sites. So now India is highest in Asia, like highest in Asia and third worldwide. Right, stands third worldwide in terms of number of Ramsar sites. Right, what are wetlands? What is the function of any wetlands? So wetlands, they provide carbon sequestration, very important. It regulates the water cycles and also it hosts migratory birds and also acts as carbon sinks. Very important feature of wetlands. Carbon sinks, carbon sequestration, right? So new sites are part of the Central Asian Flyway, new sites in the Bihar. So it strengthens Bihar's ecotourism potential and also it improves access to global conservation funding, right? So for prelims, it's important to connect to a Ramsar convention, very important, and also total Ramsar sites, especially in India. Do the mapping carefully. Know the geographical features and also the state they are in, etc. Right, now for mains, it's important to know about wetland conservation and sustainable development and also climate adaptation, right? So the next article, the last one of today's news, is about dragonfly survey. We've already seen this in previous current affairs session. New species discovered. There is an improvement here, a development. So a biodiversity survey in Delhi is being done in the Delhi's biodiversity parks. So it recorded a surge in dragonflies and discovered new species as well. So dragonflies are basically the bio indicators of wetland health. Very important. Their presence indicates clean functioning ecosystems, right? That's why they are the bio indicators of any ecosystem. So it is this particular survey is done across 7 biodiversity parks in Delhi. The positive outcome of Wetland restoration, this is a positive outcome. The increase or the finding of new species, it's a positive outcome of wetland conservation or restoration. So citizen science here also played a key role in this development. For prelims, it's very important to know about the role of bioindicators, the definition, and also these kind of biodiversity surveys. And for mains, about urban biodiversity, urban ecology, participatory governance in environment. Right, so these are the key current affairs of today's news. Now let's test your knowledge with the two prelims model practice MCQs. The first question is, with reference to Ramsar Convention 1971, consider the following statements. So the convention is legally binding and member countries are obligated to maintain the ecological character of all wetlands within their territory. Two, once a site is designated as Ramsar site, it automatically receives financial assistance from the Global Environment Facility. Recently, Bihar's Gokul Jalashay and Udaipur Jheel were added as Ramsar sites, increasing India's total number of Ramsar wetlands. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. The second question is, consider the following pairs regarding Indian biosphere reserves and their unique features. 1. Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve, home to snow leopard and Himalayan ibex. Sundarbans Biosphere Reserve, only mangrove forest in world inhabited by tigers. Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, recognized under UNESCO's Man and Biosphere Reserve program. How many of the above pairs are actually correctly matched? Only 1, only 2, only 3, all 3, none. Right, we also have two main questions for you to practice answer writing. The first question is, India's declining sex ratio reflects both cultural preferences and policy failures. Critically examine the reasons behind the fall and suggest multi-pronged measures to address the issues. 10 marker. Second question is, space missions like Astrosat not only advance India's scientific frontiers but also strengthen its global standing. Discuss the significance of indigenous space observatories for India's science, diplomacy, and technological self-reliance. Right? Please practice these two questions, and also please drop your answers to the MCQs in the comment section below. We'll be checking your responses, and we'll see the correct answers to these two questions in the next session, that is tomorrow. Right, so that's all for today's current affairs. So we covered the sex ratio debate, cafe norms, Astrosat's decade in space, UNESCO recognition of the cold desert reserve, and also Bihar's Ramsar wetland sites, and also dragonfly bioindicators. All are directly linked to your exam syllabus. So if you found this session useful and valuable, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mentors Academy for more such updates, and please press that bell icon to not miss any updates. Right, so I'll see you again in the next lecture. Thank you so much for turning in today. Have a good day, you all.